Hey, welcome to the Freedom Income YouTube channel. So I wanted to do a video on my thoughts on the crypto market, Bitcoin and altcoins, what my thoughts are, and the imminent price, and so on. So, as of this moment, my thoughts on Bitcoin is that I think is actually going to consolidate, or it might even actually dip some more. I actually anticipate a lot of quite a prolonged anticipate a consolidation and perhaps even more of a retracement, even maybe to the 40Ks before next bull run. In fact, on some of the indicators are actually suggesting that the bear market is kind of coming. Although I don't think it is. I actually think we could have a double bull run this year. I mean, my conviction in Bitcoin and cryptos, just a thought. And reality is that if Bitcoin drops, the altcoins tend to follow, most of them anyway. So if Bitcoin drops, altcoins tend to follow, and if Bitcoin rises, altcoins tend to explode even more in percentage wise. So, you want to monitor your Bitcoin really as of this moment. And, a few of the indicators here are actually suggesting that this is the peak, but I don't think it is. I think we could get a double bull run. But anyway, let me share with you what my thoughts and the indicators I'm using to come to that conclusion, and you can also, share your comments and share your thoughts in the comment section and see what you think. So first of all, based on current volume, that's the volume is just way too low for this to shoot. It cannot shoot with that kind of volume. Whereas, because look back here, this bull run, look, you had big volume bars. Look, this here, big volume bar there, right? But look at this, it's just volume. That's one thing. Well, another thing is I've got a couple of indicators on here. I've got this one, which is the pi cycle top indicator. This is specifically this is the pi cycle top indicator, which I'm using for um, Bitcoin actually. There's also other pi cycle top indicators which you use for other instruments, but this one is specifically built for Bitcoin. I've got the Bitcoin logarithmic bands, which are like your Fibonacci almost for Bitcoin specifically. And I've also got this one here, which is the Mayer's layer Bitcoin bands again. So this one again is a specific. So these are all specific Bitcoin indicators, right? They don't work on any other instrument. If you go to another instrument, they just won't work. It just doesn't look right, right? So these are only Bitcoin specific instruments, right? This is just a normal stochastic which you can use for anything. First of all, stochastic's becoming a bit overbought. There's not enough volume, and let's just see. Let me just go back into history and let's have a look at the pi cycle top indicator as well as this Mayer's indicator or Myers indicator, and see what conclusion we can draw from it. Apologies, it's just connecting. Sometimes that happens. Let's just stay here. This is fine right here. Let's start from here, right? So watch, if you look, so this is the pi cycle top, right? You see the orange line, the blue line. These two are basically a part of the pi cycle top. Now, how the pi cycle top works is that when the orange line crosses the blue line, and this has the orange dash lines, that's the peak of the market, end of bull run, and then they will turn into a bear market. So here, this is what happened right here. That's the top of the bull run back in 2013, and then we had a bear market. Same here, orange line crosses the blue line, peak of market, and then we had a bear market after that. And let's now drag, and also in fact, we drag it back. Let me just show you the Myers indicator. Right, this is peak. Myers indicator said sell, and then from there just dumped. Same with this one. This says peak. Myers indicators overbought in the overbought zone, right? Anything in the red area or above is overbought, and then it starts to dump, right? And this is the peak. So if we go now more to the recent, which now this is the 2008-17 pump, right, in December. This is the peak. That yellow line cross, this is the peak. This Myers indicator is in the red zone, and then it dumped. So right now, this is where we are. I'll just show you. Here, right? So it hasn't really crossed yet the orange line. If I go in closer, it hasn't actually crossed yet. It's just underneath the green. But if the price goes up more, I think this will cross. But if the cross goes down, it may just miss the cross and drop, and then you might not have the dashed line, so it might not peak. But on this Myers one is actually on in the red zone, and this has said sell. And each of the previous time that this indicator said sell, dropped this price, this thing dropped, the band dropped all the way to the and base and you know, this is really about to cross, and if it does cross, remember that is the peak of the market. So that could happen, you know, but personally, I'm still, at least in the long term, I think in the years to come, I think in trading and investing, or at least this is the way I look at it. I look at it, any investment or trade that I take as a long-term investment. I'm personally a trader, but I trade long-term bullish instruments timely after each correction, and I would sell them when they become overbought, so that I don't have to hold through the the red, and then I would buy them again after the correction. So that's probably what I'll do with cryptos. So I actually sold about 3/4 of all my holdings, I would say, in crypto, which in fact I was in on about my portfolio is about 40 to 50 cryptocurrencies, um, and I was in on most of them back around sort of June, July, August time last year, which was 2020, when Bitcoin was around $8,000 to $9,000 range, under 10,000 anyway, and that's when I got in most of the cryptos. So I'm up pretty nicely on a lot of my portfolio. So you know, there's no reason not to protect profits. I did sell, however, you know, even though I added there, I did sell near each peaks, like sort of maybe not all the way at the very, very top, but sort of this area I sold, and then I bought back after, and I sold again here, and sold again there. I bought back after, you know, and now I've sold pretty much most of my portfolio, although I still have some. I mean, you know, even if the crypto market disappears because of what I've made over the last 6 months, you know, or 7 or 8 months, even if the whole crypto disappears, my current holdings disappears, I will still be nicely in profit. But you know, but I want to say at this stage in the crypto game, you might want to be a bit more careful. You might not want to go all in, because this is quite, you know, quite a risky. These indicators are suggesting some high risk here. And the other reason I say that is if you look at the S&P, right? If you look at the VIX here, right? Let me just switch off some of these indicators, because again, like I said, these indicators don't work for other instruments apart from Bitcoin. So look at your VIX, right? This is your VIX, which is the volatility index for your S&P 500. So basically, when your VIX rises, your S&P drops. So look, this is the S&P, right? So so look, this is the COVID dump. That's the dump, but instead the VIX rises as a result. So when your VIX rises, your S&P dumps, right? So if you look at this, VIX is trading at a key support, right? Which it hasn't ever traded below that for more than 1 year now. So, you know, for about 14, 15 months, it hasn't traded below this level. No, nothing says that the VIX can't drop from here, right? Nothing says that it's impossible for the VIX to drop, which means your stock market will rise, right? But based on what I can see in the recent history, the chance of VIX rising, which means your stock market will drop, is a lot higher than the chance of the VIX dropping and your stock market rise, based on that chart pattern, right? The chance of this going up is so much higher than the chance of this going down, which means there's a more likelihood the stock market will drop. So if the stock market drops, what happens is it affects your precious metals such as gold, and it affects your Bitcoin. So if that happens, I don't really want to be holding too much red, which is why I sold a lot of my stock holdings. I'm only about a third in stocks and 2/3 in cash, and with my cryptos, I sold about two thirds or 3/4 or so of my portfolio so far, and I'm holding about a third as of now. But once I see clear direction of the market, and once I see clear bullishness back in Bitcoin, that's when I will probably buy back more Bitcoin again and hold and hold for the long term. Except I'll sell at each sort of peak. So that's sort of my plan. And if the VIX was to rise, what's sort of my plan? What's my anticipation in terms of the stock market? This is where I use my SPX channel index. So basically, I will see, because without going into detail, watch one of my previous YouTube videos, which I go into quite a bit of detail about this indicator. This is the indicator which is built for SPX, which is your S&P 500. Don't use this on any other instrument; it won't work. But it's super accurate for the SPX. So if this SPX was to drop, I would like to accumulate positions when it's touching the blue line here. And if will it definitely hold? No, nobody knows if this blue line will definitely hold 100%, because but if it drops below it, then it becomes a bear market. But it doesn't mean we cannot have another bear market. So if it does drop, I'll be accumulating. In fact, let me switch off these EMAs, because the EMA might put you off a little bit. So if it drops below this blue line, I'll buy more here on stocks and cryptos maybe even, and I'll buy more here. I'll be using my Bitcoin logarithmic thing for my Bitcoins, but in terms of stocks, I'll be buying more here and here, right? I'll definitely buy some here, because this level tends to hold stock price up above it during any market bull run. Look at this. Since the COVID dump, look, holds the price above here, holds the price here, holds the price there, holds the price there, holds. So during a bull run, this blue line tends to hold the price up, but it doesn't mean they cannot. In fact, this is the only crash in the last 15 years or so that's touched the red line on the bottom. Otherwise, it doesn't. Look, this is a correction which touched the orange line here. In fact, if you just go back in history, I won't make this video too long, but we'll just go back in history here. So here, look. So let's say, so when is this? This is 2009. So this is the last 12 years or so. 12 years, right? This is one crash, right? The rest, look, this one green holds, blue line holds, blue line hold, blue line hold, boom, drops to the green. So that's one crash plus one correction to the green, right? And now orange holds, right? So that's only two corrections and one crash so far. This one green, so that's three corrections plus one crash. The blue line, watch how well it holds the price here, holds the price there, holds the price, holds the price, holds the price, holds the price, holds the price there, and that's the fourth correction to the green level, fifth correction to the green level, sixth correction to the green level, right? And then the blue tends to hold like most of the time. You see the blue holds the S&P. Look, the blue just keeps holding, and then another correction there. So that's the seventh correction. So, and then a crash. So we've had literally just two crashes and two sort of smallish corrections to the green level, and then three or four corrections to the orange level, or so, something like that, right? So you can see most of the time the market is bullish, right? You get about 3/4 of the market which is bullish, about 1/3 or less that's bearish. Each bearishness doesn't last that long. If you look at it, from here, so the bear market from October 18 to December, so that's 2 months, and then it started rising. This one was like 2 months as well, which was the COVID, and this one was from December till February, still 2 months. And this one was from September till October, so 1 month. So you can see the corrections and crashes, or the bear market doesn't last that long, and it counts for much less than the bull market, right? Most of the time the market is bullish and it lasts a lot longer. So based on this, I think, especially the VIX, I think the S&P might drop, and when the S&P drops to maybe this sort of bluish level, that's when I'll start buying stocks, and then I'll look at my Bitcoin setup, my Bitcoin logarithmic setup, and I'll check the Bitcoin levels where it's at that level, and then some of these other indicators, and then I might buy back some of the cryptos then. So that's sort of my evaluation of the stock market and what's going to happen with cryptos. Do share your thoughts and opinions. I would really value them, and comment in the comment section. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, and I hope that's been a useful session for you guys. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. I'll keep posting these valuable videos. Thank you, and happy trading.